So in finance, and I just read something, and I'm asking because I'm very less, like, I'm not well read in this space, but that makes me excited. So you talked about US, right? US में एक Venmo करके होता था, right? और Venmo इसलिए चला वहाँ पे because बाकी transactions करने में it takes you 2 days, 3 days to do it, right? India में it doesn't happen. So what do you feel like neobanks and stuff India में that will work or no?
So, but Venmo is a great example. Venmo it worked because UPI wasn't there.
Exactly.
Actually,
so
Venmo,
India has UPI.
Venmo now has to change its rails, and therefore that business model may actually get margin pressure because of वो तो Fed now पे चलेगा.
Exactly.
Right? So absolutely. Now I'll tell you the big difference. India, the reason we are optimistic is India has the best of both worlds. It has a highly under-penetrated market on credit. So versus the US, you know how many credit cards does US have? Close to 1 billion for a population of 300 million.
Oof.
How many credit cards does India have? 100 million.
100 million, yes.
For a population of 1.4 billion. And unique credit card holders are only 40 million. So by any projection you take, that's going to go to about 150 million in a few years, which also will still look under-penetrated. So हमारी तो penetration game है. And ये underlying नया payments and digital infrastructure therefore gives us a easier way to do it. 5 years ago, there's no way you can... So what all has changed? Normally क्या होता है? Underwriting में banks के काफ़ी strict rules होते हैं risk के. So वो CIBIL score check करेंगे and generally and एक concept होता है fat file. Because you asked about fintech, I'll tell you why this is important. Concept होता है fat file versus thin file. So आपका record है, मेरा record है CIBIL में. अब हमने कितने loans लिए हैं, कितनी transactions की हैं, कितने सालों से की हैं, that determines the thickness of your file. Most of us, well, my guess is you have a thin file, even though you're financially very literate. Now, I have a fat file because I'm older, and I took up my first loan when I was actually not having a loan will make it a thin file, because loan se wo data
yes,
right? So they only know how to process things. Banks only know how to process things a certain way. And since there's so much penetration left, they don't have to think of innovation. These fintechs come and innovate. And they say, you may be shocked, there may be people of your profile who may get rejected for a credit card. But the fintech will go look at your Instagram, your YouTube stuff, your bank account statements. They don't rely on just one thing. And with the and they will look at, for example, a 14% saving rate for a bank is a very bad thing. For a fintech, it's a very good thing. They want to underwrite such people.
Yeah.
But you have to be careful because you can get into trouble with these people as they may overspend. So, jo mindset hi change karna hai, right? So, the way I think of it is for India, if you look at core pillars of the economy, financial services hai, B2B hai, consumer hai. So, we talk about it internally that these are such deep and wide sectors. Normally people bolte hain ye deep hai ya ye wide hai. These are deep and wide sectors where even if you own one small piece of it, वो बहुत valuable company होगी. और वो piece क्या है? वो piece है एक particular consumer persona. Like a specific, somebody may say, I will create a credit card for Gen Z. Somebody may say, I will create a neobank for creators.
Yeah,
creators have their own set of issues, and that's actually an idea that people have been
in US. It's a $1 billion company.
Yeah. So I just believe, and if it's in the US, imagine here. And we have a thesis on that, and we do think that there are problems to be solved. But just on a lighter note, ultimately, creator वो bank सब होने के बाद बोलेगा मेरी earnings बढ़ाओ. So it's a different business. So
okay, as hard it is for me to consume, but that's the reality. That's what we all want. In fact, I'll tell you, since you were talking about a consumer persona, right? There's one of my friends, she's a creator, and she made 2.5 crores a year, okay, post-tax.
Yeah.
And she was denied loan because bank doesn't recognize her profession.
Correct. Exactly. So there you go. And therein lies the opportunity. So I think there are plenty of such people, not just profession. So self-employed will actually be a very big source. And this is where the first part and the third part that we were talking about, right? I am actually, I am a big bull on India and in India's nation building. In fact, we use this term internally कि यहाँ पे digital nation building हो रही है और हम digital nation building के actually privileged हैं कि उसमें किसी ना किसी तरीके से participate कर रहे हैं. You are part of it, we are part of it on a different side. This will only happen once in a generation for this country. जो अमेरिका में World War II के बाद हुआ, जो चाइना में last 15 years हुआ, जो जापान में 80s 90s में हुआ, that is happening in India right now. So there are enough naysayers, enough things that can go wrong, but I think that's the part that excites me the most. But coming back to this point, that also creates a new, to your point on persona, it's a new generation of entrepreneurs, right? People didn't think of this kind of an entrepreneurship 3, 4, 5 years ago. So how can old institutions cater to new age jobs, new age
gig
things?
Economy?
Yeah, gig economy. Gig economy jab aayi thi. So by the way, when gig economy came, also there was this question: how do you like? So we actually had invested in a company during COVID it got acquired called Avail Finance, which was neobank for gig economy. They also want health insurance. Actually, one of the most interesting products for gig economy is, I forget what the term of that product is, but it's basically an income guarantee product, which is agar aap har apne day, and by the way, banks are used to monthly EMIs. उनका सॉफ्टवेयर ही नहीं चलेगा. अगर आप किसी गिग इकोनॉमी वाले से मंथली EMI करोगे, आपका जो लॉस रेट होगा वो 50-60% हो जाएगा. You have to do daily EMI. How do you set that up? So one of the products, for example, was if you are sick, a lot of these people they don't have savings. Like people, they are cash flow and literally day-to-day income dependent, right? So then how do you insure them? So you get a piece of each transaction and then you insure them for that. So I think the opportunity in this new digital way of building an economy is just...
It's crazy. In fact, the interesting part is like I started this podcast 2 years ago and the idea was figuring out the Indian dream.
Yeah.
That's what our whole idea was. Like, okay, let's go talk to the people who have figured out the Indian dream and how do we
No, I've seen
take
some
this
of yours and I think
it
it's very, very endearing how you do it. It's very natural. And yeah, it's great to see.
Thank you.